see this amazing movie theater full. We are very happy to present to you the international premiere of Infinity Pool. Is the film that in a way closes our little journey through the night. We have shown here at the Kino International some films that have different way of taking us into the dark side of the world. And Infinity Pool is the best way to close this journey. It's sure. I won't say much because we want to also to give you some time after the film to talk with the filmmaker and the cast. But I have to say that it is an international premiere, but in fact you will have the chance to watch the uncut version of the filmmaker. So in a way it's I see you are all ready, so let me thank first of all Focus and Universal to give us this opportunity, and please welcome on stage the filmmaker of Infinity Pool, Cronenberg. Welcome in Berlin.
Thank you so much, all of you, for being here. Thank you for having me and our team. I made this film with a number of very close friends and collaborators who I've worked with on many films now. Many of them are here today, and we've all come out to this festival and are thrilled to be here. Also with some new friends and new collaborators who are incredibly brilliant and joining us, and will come with me onto the stage afterwards for a Q&A. So if you'd like to chat, please stick around. Yeah, thank you so much for having us. It's really incredible to be here, and thank you all for coming. I hope you enjoy the film.
Wow. Please welcome back on the stage Brandon Cronenberg. And the actors, Mia Goth, Skarsgård, Jalil, Lespert, and Kretschmann. So we don't have so much time, so if you want, I'll give you immediately the word, otherwise I will ask something. Yes, I was sure.
This kind of feels like the execution scene in the movie.
Exactly. Ready?
Yes. So, Mia, I really like your performance in Pearl. Your monologue, your 8-minute monologue is so amazing. Alex, I really like The Northman. I think you both should. Get more recognition for those roles. So my question is, what is your most challenging role in your career? Question is for Jalil and Thomas also. Thank you.
You have a mic? Yes.
Most challenging role? Probably Gabby in Infinity Pool. I actually received the script whilst I was filming Pearl, and I had originally decided to not read anything at that time, but then this script had come along and had Brandon's name on it, and I'd been a fan of his work for a long time. I'd seen Antiviral and Possessor, and I was incredibly intrigued. And you know, like, you've just seen the movie, it's very instant. You're sucked into this world, and you're just completely locked in. And it was the same with reading the script. And yeah, it was a wild movie to film. And she's it's just an incredible role, and it's rare to come across these kinds of characters. So I jumped at the opportunity, of course.
Yeah. James is definitely one of the most rewarding experiences of my career. Not very challenging, which is probably says a lot about how disturbed I am. Because I really enjoyed every second of it, and it felt very natural and easy to me. So, The Northman was definitely more of a challenge. This was a nice little palate cleanser after The Northman.
I did like few challenging movies in France, but this one was particular for me because I just have to dive and trust the director thoughts, and I didn't know what we were doing sometimes, and it was just so good to be there with this incredible casting.
Kind of a movie. Butterfly.
I have a lot.
One and then.
I have a lot of questions of why about different things that went through your head in order to come up with this. But I don't know how much of that you could answer. But I was wondering why September 29th, 2019, as the date that this all around takes place. You specifically showed that on the plane ticket.
It's a very personal day for me, of course, but it's a secret I can't tell you. But it's deeply, deeply intriguing. I promise. It's a really, really good answer. I can't tell you, but it's if you knew, it would really unlock the film for you. But sorry.
Thank you. Hi, good evening. Thank you so much for bringing this film here. That was, one experience, to say the least. The question I wanted to ask to Brandon is about the sort of first reactions you got when you pitched the idea, or sort of, I've got this thing going on in my head, and what sort of things came back. Because it's just incredible.
Weirdly, it went over pretty well in script form. I feel like sometimes people maybe don't totally know how to read a script, and so something seems like it's going to be fine, and then the reality of it is whatever this was. But look, I made the film with some very close friends who were producers who came on very early on, and so they were very supportive. And so honestly, it wasn't a problem somehow. I think it's just maybe the friends I keep, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure why, but yeah, it was pretty positive.
And there's some questions more? Otherwise, I have a question for me very important, because for me it's not only a very challenging film in terms of visually, but there's something very challenging and innovative in the material of the film. Maybe the cinematographer, who is the Karim Hussain, can also join us.
I would love that. Can we
Yes, Karim Hussain.
I mean, especially the realization sequences. I know that you guys shot nothing in CGI, so if you can explain us, what did you do?
Sure. Karim, you want to?
Yeah, so basically it's a technique we developed over a number of years, started on a short film we did right before Possessor, almost as a test for Possessor, and then we did Possessor, and we started some stuff, and nothing is in CGI, everything's in camera. And for the hallucination scenes, also with James Vanderwater, our amazing editor, and Brandon spending way too many hours in the editing room, basically doing animation through editing. There's a lot of subliminal frames included in there, and then what we do on set is we take basically a magnifying glass that's split in half, a split field diopter, it is called technically, and we wrapped around a type of film that no matter how you look at it, it has a different color into the texture, and basically we shine a light into it against a long lens, and we reproject the rushes from the set in my living room. So basically a very insane amount of Infinity Pool was shot in my living room, much to my downstairs neighbor's chagrin, who's here, where we did the insert of the sausages frying, we flooded his apartment. So basically what we do is we photograph this stuff, and the person who personally does all of the color effects is Brandon. It is usually 16-hour marathons where Brandon is in front of a long lens playing, doing a weird puppet dance. We're told we look like really bad puppets, very failed puppets. We can't even be puppets. And we do that. It usually lasts, so long that Brandon has all the blood leave his arm, and we have to build a special tripod so Brandon doesn't pass out from all of the puppet blood basically leaving his arm. So that takes hours and hours to do, and everything is done. All the color decisions are done by Brandon, basically moving a flashlight around this piece of film, and all the focus decisions are done basically like puppeting. So zero CGI in any of the hallucination scenes. Everything is straight cut in camera. So there's some stop motion also within that stuff that was done in the UK. It's a weird puppet show. Puppeteer, Brandon, color puppet.
Karim very kindly made me a little, it was sort of a tripod with a dish towel on it, so I could sort of hold the diopter like that.
Questions? Yeah, there.
Shall I just ask loud?
If you want, yes.
Yeah.
I think Mike will.
Can you? So, thank you very much. I found it absolutely gratifying to have the Universal logo and that film that is so in your face. So that was I love that. I just wanted to ask about the uncut version. How does it differ to the one that's been shown at Sundance? And also, this is also referring to subliminals. And did you do subliminals on the level for just a frame? Or what are we talking about here? Just like freaking back at...
Right, so in Sundance, it was played uncut, but the U.S. theatrical release was R-rated because of the particular issues with the MPA and releasing a theatrical film there. The hand job, I'll be honest with you, a couple of shots got cut of the hand job. Some of the violence got trimmed, and in particularly the first execution and the fight at the end. It wasn't a huge difference, but of course it's always painful to lose that stuff, and the hand job, in my opinion, far less effective, but it's to your taste. Subliminally, the thing is, we shot an absolute mountain of footage, and with Karim, it was rephotographing rushes from the film, but also we were shooting, a tiny mirror box with masks and deforming the image, and so it wasn't subliminal in the sense of hidden messages or anything like that, but we would find 3 particular frames from different points in the movie, and we had to develop a language to talk about it because it was hard to describe. Okay, we want 3/4 pinwheel blue, and we started sounding like complete lunatics after weeks and weeks of just trying to describe what these shots were, but it developed into this language, and pairing frames and sometimes doing 3 frames in a row, but changing the order. It was like a weird alchemy because it's not just which frames flash, it's the order of the frames dramatically changes what your brain registers, and so it was a lot of experimentation with poor James, but he put up with me.
And, if you want to, just a point of interest, that first doubling chamber scene, which is probably about 2 minutes of footage in the final movie, has 351 edits within that. which is a tremendously large amount of editing within there, and it's all basically like editing animation, really.
Hey, I have a question for Mia. I just think you're properly classed, like you're so good. And what I'd like to ask is, what attracts you to the horror genre, and specifically what attracted you to this role? Yeah.
Thank you. I have to take these shoes off. My toes are about to fall off. Oh my goodness. Okay, that's better. Thank you. What attracts me to the horror genre? Well, you know, more than anything, it's not necessarily the genre per se. It's really the type of characters that happen to find themselves existing in these worlds. You know, I guess I'm drawn to characters that have some sort of internal conflict, that are complicated in some way, that have some sort of shadow to them that they're trying to navigate and make sense of within the world. And it just so happens to be that I'm finding these incredible characters in this genre of film, I guess. What was the second part of the question? Was that it?
It's just what attracted you to this role particularly.
Well, I mean everything, really. Brandon's name, and then Alex was attached, and then I had a short synopsis of what the character was going through and what the story was about. And like I was saying, I was filming Pearl at that time, and then I read this, and I was like, man, this is a great year for me. Maybe from that to this, yes.
So I think they have to go. Can you, or we have time for a last question? Yeah. Okay. Please.
You don't have.
Yeah. But we have one. Yes. Big responsibility is the last one.
Is somebody there?
Hi, I love the movie. My question is for Brandon. I saw that you're attached to directing Supercan, and I was wondering if you took any themes from that into this, because I feel like there's some parallels between the book and this movie.
For sure. I was reading the book when I wrote this deliberately. I had already read it and I was rereading it because it was related tonally. I didn't think at the time that we were going to get the rights to Supercan. I don't think it's a lot of overlap, but it's sort of in a world that I like, and so yeah, for sure that book and the sort of books written around at that point in his career had an influence on the themes and the tones, the tone. And yeah, I hope we get a chance to make Supercan, because I think it could really be a brilliant series.
Yeah, I'd love to see it on screen. It's one of my favorite books.
And weirdly, just could actually work as a series, which is not true for a lot of his writing. But yeah, fingers crossed.
Thanks.
Thank you for being here. Thanks for the experience, Brandon.